You guys remember this one? If you don't, there's a whole bunch of videos on my channel of us finding this barn find and going through the process of getting it all up and running. It was seized and you know, carbs are bad and a bunch of other stuff. But all that was pretty much ironed out. We got to go for a ride. I think we creamed the tank. I'm not sure on that. But that was in the fall, and I did register it, but I never really got to run it on the road. Well, now it's springtime. So I just dragged it, moved some stuff around, dragged it out of the storage. See if you can do this one-handed. No, I can't. I'll pop you in the stand. Probably break something. But I figure we go bring it in, we go get ready to go start it. Got a little bag of goodies hanging off of it. There's all the accoutrements that we changed on it, but I wanted to keep the parts together with it. So there's that guy. Let me set you up in the stand, get the gas cap open. Not sure if I put gas in it or not, but one way or another we're going to see about firing this guy up and getting it ready for the season. If you guys can see, but the tank looks good. It was creamed. I'm not sure if I did that or that's how I got it. That's how your mind works sometime. So I can say we're going to get some fuel. We'll put it in it. And I probably should throw the battery charger on it too. It does have electric start. I think we have an old battery in it. I'm not even sure how we go about accessing it. Again, it's been a while. But I'll probably get a charger on that or possibly even just kick it. We'll see if it goes. But let me get some fuel and let's have some fun. Let's give it a little drink. Hopefully it doesn't come right out the other side. You think keep going? We'll turn that pet on. I always forget which way's reserve and which way's off. And gas is going through on one of them. Don't see anything happening on this one though. Saw bubbles going through on that one, but I didn't see him on this one. But this one could have been still full. Key. Let's go back you guys up a little. How's that? Get the full effect. Right about there. I forget which way choke is. Keys on. I already know it's in neutral. Let's try to choke the other way. What do you think? See if the battery will go? Throw a battery charger on it. Jumper, battery's totally dead. Jumper pack's on it. Let's see if it likes that. Bad for a cold start. Need a little bit of juice, that's all. So I'm going to let that warm up for a few minutes. Some air in. mark on it which way the choke is. Well, there's your problem. That was attached to that. We're supposed to be attached to that, and it's not. So those two wires, probably one is charging and one probably backfeeds the electrical on the bike, and this one just goes right to the starter. So that's the voltage for the starter, but not for the rest of it. So I'm just going to make up a separate eye loop for that. We'll bolt in another battery with that repaired, and we'll see how she does with that. That battery I put in there is junk, but it's enough to keep it going without the jumper pack at least. Wouldn't start it. I was able to kick start it, but the headlight would come on with the key. Go to crank it though, nada. So, an example. So if I go to crank it, ain't got enough for that. But let's see if we can do this one-handed. She'll kick. That's good enough for me for her to go on for a ride. What do you think? So it's running pretty good, except for the fact that the idle's all over the place. You set the idle, then it's up and it's down. And I know the battery that's in there is not enough to crank it over. It's enough to turn the light on. But I want to get a good battery in there before I start screwing around, because it may be just that when the RPMs come down so low, the voltage is so low that it's not getting good spark. So before I dig a hole, get into other stuff, I have the original battery on it in a battery charger. I'm going to leave that go overnight and see what it does as far as recovering. If it does not, we'll just go and get a new battery and put that in there. And then from that point, if we have to address the carbs, some tweaking in here and there, we will. A couple things I do know it still needs is the spark plug boot ends are kind of crappy. I have caught them jumping arc once in a while, so they are an issue. I'm going to see about ordering a set of those. And I do know the carb on this side is dripping, or was dripping lightly from the bowl. this one. I got the fuel shut off now, but it's leaking around the seal up here somewhere. So possibly the float level might be just a little bit too high on it, and it's allowing it to go up and over, or who knows. But again, I'm not going to get into that until I get a good battery in it and make sure that you know, Spark is doing what it's supposed to be doing, and that we're not having an issue with that, you know. So with that, I think we'll give ourselves, so if you got to crank it, that's what you get. Nothing. So it's not even enough to crank it over, but we got all summer. So it's like next day or two after this first half of the video, and I was playing around with different batteries, and neither battery that I had was really worth a damn. There's one that's in there, it has some power to it, but not enough to do what it's supposed to do. So I did the old, gone to Wally World and got me a Never Start for it. I just got done filling it and topping it off, but the problem with that is they need to sit for a while. It needs to sit an hour, a half hour to an hour after you put the acid in it, and then you got to charge it. What are we, a 12? And the 12s need to 1 to 2 amps, anywhere between you know, 3 to 12 hours once the voltage kind of comes up, and we will do that. But we are going to work with what we have right now, and we could deal with some items that are on it, namely that carburetor that's leaking and some of that kind of stuff, and see if we can zero in on those, and maybe go out back to the Horde and look for some mirrors for it, and we'll get some mirrors on it. So let's get that in the process thereof. So while I'm waiting for the other battery to settle and put on a charge and all, I'm running it with the battery charger and that battery, so the voltage is up high enough to keep the electrical system doing like it should. I am still waiting on plug-ins. I do know that's an issue, but I decided just to do that, let it warm up and tweak with the carbs a little bit, and that's where you see where I am now. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. I may just wait till I get the battery ready to roll later this afternoon, put that in, and do another road trip on it and see how it kind of settles in after I run it and, you know, get the heat up in it. A little poppy, nothing crazy about that. Seems like it's pulling this side a little. But again, I kind of want to run it down the road, and I'm going to keep going back and forth and tweaking it. Worst case scenario, I'll pull the bolts off the carb, kind of blow things out once again, make sure everything's doing what it should be. So, it's getting there. But with that, mailman just came down the driveway, and we got ourselves a little care package from YouTubers, and you guys can read it to you there. The good old US Mr. Tin Man hooked us up with some goodies. We got a laser pointer, light, and then there's a laser pointer. I know I saw it. One of them did it. Both at the same time? There it is. I think it's both at the same time. Not sure. So there's that, so we can point at things. Sent a mag light. A stand for the camera. We're going to go check that one out. We'll take it out of the package, and that's the same camera that you guys are looking through right now. So that's kind of cool that maybe we can use that instead of what we have hanging underneath here right now. And then some lenses. I'm not sure what the lenses were for. Are they for a welding helmet also? I'm not sure. But I saved it. I saved it. The reflexes, I tell you. But again, I want to thank him very much for hooking me up and sending that stuff to me. Really appreciate it, guys. So let me get back to what we were doing and see where we can go with it. So we're in the back cord, the dark back cord. And you see projects of life gone past. Another moped, a three-wheel moped. Some engines that have been acquired recently, so they're by the door and not up on the wall over there of engines. But we are in here for looking for mirrors. And one of the flashlights that kind of came along with the latest presents is this one. And it's got a little pointer, so we can point at stuff. Yeah. Mirrors. Or both. So, this box last year, I went and I grabbed at Motorcycle Swap Meet. It was $5 for the box, and it had some mirrors and some levers and carburetors in there. So let's see if we could find something, a pair of something that could be suitable for that bike. That one's got a Suzuki on it. Trying to find a pair or something, you know. That's no good. So that's out of the equation. That one doesn't look too bad. Actually, is that one with a thing on the front of it? That might have a regular mirror behind it. Might. Let's do alternatives while we're here. And are those two a set? Kinda. You think we're gonna end up grabbing them all and bringing them forward? Yeah, why don't we do that? Those, no, they're too modern. Look ugly on there. And I think this is the one of the two that I used on the moped. So possibly we may end up stealing one off that last moped build. What do you think? Just grab them all and bring them up, see what we find? Sounds like a plan to me. I got two on the bike and then some of them on the bench. So there's these three. These look like two lefts and a right. And on the bike, I have, this is one of the two that was, I took the other one I believe and I put it on the moped, and I think it is on the left hand side. That one looks nice. I like kind of the way it's tucked in there. And this is another left, which is going to be a pair. That one is going to be a pair. I believe those two are set, but they're just so rusty, they're kind of cruddy. So I'm thinking what we can do is we'll take a wire wheel and we'll clean these up, see what they look like. If they don't look too good, we'll go back and steal the one off of the Pooch moped and bring it over here. We'll put that set on there. Kind of like the way they're tucked in. They're not past the handlebars. Kind of keep you out of harm's way as far as clipping something. But I don't think these were all that bad neither. Yeah. They go past a little bit, but not much. Could probably rotate them in. Are they in the center? Yeah, that's not happening on that one. So let's see how they clean up on the wheel. The other problem is too, is this grip is stripped out. So we'll have to do something about that. Possibly change that out or go take a look out back. I think it's all part of this one piece though. So we may have just to work with the hole that we got. It's been about an hour. Put the caps back on and the fluid levels look decent. I might be a hair over. But now it's going to do the slow charge kind of deal. And I just have one of those. The idea is you want to charge them up very slow. It helps the longevity of the battery, so the slower the better. They recommend nothing over a 2 amp kind of trickle charge. And what we have is one of those Harbor Freight battery maintainers. And it looks like 500 milliamps. So that's a half an amp that one's putting out. And I think the paperwork says for minimum 30 minutes stand time, we let it stand for an hour. At 1 amp it says 6 to 12 hours. We're doing half an amp, so we may even put it in tomorrow. Just let it charge overnight. Probably be the best bet for that. Noise alert. So let's go try the big wire wheel. on this guy and see how it cleans it up. What do you think? I don't think that's going to clean them up nice enough for us to work with. So I do believe we should probably steal the one off the moped and use that one, and we'll make something else up for that. But before we go do that, let's see if we can get this guy off of here and if there's a regular mirror behind it or if it's just stuck on. Stuck on there. I don't know how. Think that'll clean up? Let's take some glass cleaner. Let me take some glass cleaner, clean that up. See if, as I break it, are those two a set? Kind of left and right? Yeah. Did one of these say Suzuki? No. And they're offset, so we can rotate them. If we want them in or out further, we can still do that. So, let's try those two. What do you say we try goof off? We'll let that set up on them. See if that'll melt some of that. Let's give them a back shot too. Well, while they're kind of trying to do the thing to dissolve, I need to put something in that one stripped out grip. So in my hoard, I have this set, 10 by 1.5 metric repair kit. Helicoil, and as long as that, I'm not sure if it is or not, it's the same as that. I think it is. I gotta look underneath the microscope, make sure it just didn't open it up. We should be able to put that down inside the grip. What else have we got inside here? See a tap. I don't know if it's a tap in the installation tool or just a tap. Or what do we got? We got that guy. And that's the tap for the outside. So is that guy and that guy the same thing? I'm not sure. I don't think it is. I think that might be finer. And what was happening was when I was threading this on, it was opening it up. What do you think? I think I should look and see if I have anything else. So I went to my metric tap set. It's a 10 by 125 is what the size of the mirror is. So one way or another we're going to get that on. Either I'm going to try finding a helicoil that is a 125, or we are going to tap the hole that's in there. Actually, we could probably tap this to a 150 maybe. Yeah, it's going to be kind of screwy. Let's see how that goof off did for us. It's already looking pretty decent. Except for that very edge in there. That's right. It's a patina bike. It's allowed to have a little. I think this is the one we popped the mirror off of. What do you think? Can you see yourself? Yeah, I think we got some glass cleaner on there. I think that might do. Soak them one more time, and we'll screw with making the threads yet, and we'll clean them one more time. I think they'll do though. So what I decided to do is see if we can put more threads on there, and if I'm able to have it stick out the bottom, I can just put a nut on the other end. We'll tighten up the bottom side of it and make that how it clamps down instead of relying on the threads that are in there. So we'll give that a shot. It's just a bit of a shoulder. Show you. I'm probably gonna have to go take a grinder to it. See that shoulder that's on there? I'm not sure if this was machined down further or not, but I figure we'll give her a shot before we do anything with it, and if not, we'll adapt from there. Yeah, it feels like it's cutting. Flip that guy over. Give it a bit of a flat stop. It was sticking out about a thread or two, so I don't need terribly a bunch more, but probably 3 or 4 threads should do it. Let's see how we want to go on there. What is it? Run it till it stops. And it actually looks pretty good. Then we'll pinch it with that guy. That should be probably just about flush when we're done. That's what we're looking for. And let's see how that works for us. Let me try it with no washer first. There we go. That looks pretty good. It's going to take the grip off and look at it, but we don't need to. Tighten that back up. Just throw that anywhere. That should do. Zoom me back out. Yeah. That looks pretty decent. Plus I can rotate them, like I said, if I want them inboard or outboard, because these have the offset on them. Decent. So it's been sitting, I don't know, hour and a half. Screw around with other stuff. It's not cold, but so we'll try with no choke. I just want to see how it starts. I think we're good to go. See what it does. I can live with that. Starts nice. Alright, we're just kind of waiting on the battery, which is probably about a day away or so. So I may just take some time and detail the thing, wax it, clean it all up the best we can, and make it purdy. So Brian dropped off these a while ago, and Brian does a bunch of detailing. So I just called him and go, what's my best bet for these? One's a cleaner wax and one's more of like a high-end one. Well, this thing's a little on the beat up side, so he recommended going with this. And he said afterwards, if you find that it's not shiny enough for you, you can still hit it with that. But this is just harder to remove, and has a very light abrasive, I guess, in it to help it do its thing. So without further ado, this is probably the before look of the finish. It's not going to do anything for the cases. I know that. I'm probably just going to leave that alone. Anyway, I think this has a clear on it that's kind of failing, so that's kind of why it looks crappy the way it does. I don't know what would be the best bet for this. I don't know if we should Scotch-Brite that or not. Leave it alone. It's got a boo-boo there. That's from me. I did that, unfortunately. And then the chrome, be the same thing. I'm not sure if this is stainless or chrome. We'll do that same cleaner on that and just see how the paint and those shiny surfaces go. Any recommendations you guys want to put in down below on that, give me a heads up, and maybe we'll try that to make that just a little bit more pretty. I'm going to try to stay away from paint. I'm going to try to leave it all the original stuff on this. I know it could, you know, benefit from it. Could always do it later. You know, that definitely has gotten some. But I want to see how it looks just being a used bike. Let's see if we can get that piece of fuel line on there for the shifter. Yeah, as far as I can, then we're going to cut it. I'm going to try air. Getting there. Good. I think I'll raise the blade. I'm going to go slice that right around there, and that should be a nice fit that doesn't rotate on your foot. So you can slice that off. One more time around. Not sure if I cut all the way through. Yeah, we got a hanger. Shifter. It's kind of leaning back a little too. See if we get a jack handle on there and bend that into some kind of submission without breaking it. I probably should put something behind that. Let's get ourselves a little something. How about a pry bar, just so it's kind of supported. One more. That's pretty good. It's pretty level. I'll leave it there for now. See how it rides down the road if I want to finagle it a little more. I'm walking around and kind of chasing some leaks, some issues. I got one large one right here. So that one's kind of popping away. So I need to get whatever needs to go inside there. Just kind of going over the lights. I got high beam, low beam, directionals are okay. Horn works. Tail light's working. And front brake light works, but the back one is not. We got to go look into what's kind of causing that. The other thing is too, if I shut the headlights off, no brake light. I have no brake light, turn the key off, when the running lights are turned off, and that shouldn't be. So I am thinking, I don't know. I do know I have one wire broke off, a ground wire up here, that when I go to change the battery, I'll take care of that one also. But I'm not quite sure what is going on with that. I would probably think I probably just have a ground that's off somewhere, but I'm gonna go probe the switch. Here's the switch and the wire that goes down. Kind of looks a little floppy, doesn't it? It's dark in there, I can't see anything. So maybe that switch just isn't getting pulled far enough. Get in there, we'll get a light, kind of see what's going on with that, see if we can get our rear brake light working. So I went in there with a pair of pliers because I've got my headlight on now, and if I grab the switch itself, give it a good tug, it does come on. So we shall turn the directional off, wherever that sucker is. There we go. Get that out of the way. And I think the plastic might be broke on that. I don't know. Looks like those things that are sticking out are supposed to go down through that hole, but I'm not sure. Let's see if that's enough. Nope. That spring might be too wimpy too. Yeah, I think that's what's going to be the issue. I think that spring's not going to have enough tug. What do you think? Take a tie wrap and wrap it together so it kind of pulls down on that a little better. That's what I'm thinking. And a little tie wrappy assistance there. Looks like it should do it. Probably still does not work with the light assembly off though. Nope, it does. How about the front brake? So the front brake does not work when the headlight's not on. Back one does. Not sure if it's supposed to be that way. I would not think it would be. But I don't know what else would kind of go cause that. I might have something crossed in the headlight maybe. Anybody has one of these bikes and knows the answer to that, please feel free to speak up. Well, the punch list is getting pretty small. What we got still to address. One thing I think I'd like it to try to do is see if I have anything in the garage that we can fix that so that that exhaust leak is much less. It'll stop some of the, I think, the backfiring too when you let off, or at least be a lot quieter in general. Plus, when you're going down the road, you're not hearing that rattle. And that rattles on both sides. I think they had some kind of like asbestos packing that was in there when we took it apart the first time. It was just kind of blown out. I have some of that stainless, I'll show you in a minute when I get it apart, that stainless Chinese finger stuff is what I call it, but it's the jacket that you put over wires. We'll see if maybe we can use some of that to take up the gap, and it should withstand the heat. But let's get the pipe off first and look inside there. So this is the stuff I'm talking about. I'll show you in a second. This stuff, I got a bunch of different sizes and shapes of it, anywhere from, I don't know, down to the size of a pencil to, I don't know if you can see through the package on that one. That one will open up pretty fat. So my first thought was trying to open it up, take a section of it, open it up, go over it, and slide the pipe over. And the way the muffler kind of grabs, there's a lip up here, and it seems like they use a clamp to clamp over the top of that and keep it from pulling off. There's the clamp. So that goes on those lips, and then it's got two other lips that grab that, lock onto it. But the problem is, again, you grab that, it's still real sloppy behind there. So I don't know, maybe we should try taking it and wrapping it like this, maybe going around once, twice, 3 times. What do you think? I think something like that to take up the space, and then it won't want to burn up very easy. And the only problem is what's going to hold it when we're putting it on there. Once it's on there, it should be fine. It's just getting it on there and not unraveling. We'll struggle with it. I'll cut a piece off and we'll try it and just see how it does. Let's just try and wing it. I got about 18-inch, 20-inch piece. Let's just see if we can wrap that sucker around there and get it started, you know. I have a feeling that's going to be too much. It's not too much. Try it right up against there. Yeah, it's too much, I can tell already. Never gonna happen. Think it's the right idea, but too much material. Let's get rid of, which one's the crappy end? That's the crappy end, so let's knock off almost in half. Think we'll be able to get that? Let's do it so we can turn it as we're putting it on. That pipe's blown out right there. It actually doesn't look too bad as long as I get the clamp on it. That might do it. Let's put that bolt back in there, support it. It's worth a try, right? Got it tightened up. That seemed a lot better. You know, time will tell if it lasts or not. Not quite sure what that material is. Let's go see if it says. It says braided tinned copper. So it won't rust. It might turn green, but it won't rust. So let's go do the same on the other side. See if it will do the same cure. Other side, same problem. So let's see if that one will go away. I think it's gonna snap, but we'll put some heat on it, see what happens. And go. The bracket's ready to rip apart on the bottom. Broke right at the very end, you bastard. She needs a dragon to piss on it, that's all. Good. Summertime. I saved you the noise. I just sliced that guy off with a cutting wheel. Now we just put a nut and bolt through it. Hardware. I would say those look a little small. Something like that. Looks like it. Let's find a nut for it. Get it back out. I think one of those. Problem is, there's not that much room up in there. It was a 12mm head that was on it on one side, and then the other side was large. But it was welded and fixed. Yeah, we'll go with those two. Sold. So the exhaust is all put back together. I put the new battery in it. I figure what I'm going to do is, over the course of tonight, I'll just leave it on the trickle charger and let it finish its thing. But I got impatient, and I kind of wanted to make sure that everything else is ready to rock and roll. And I think we should start it up. We'll leave the choke off. It has been running about, I don't know, hour and a half, something like that. Let's go for the key. On. I think we're ready to go. Bang. Sounds pretty good, huh? Be happy with that. fairly even. Again, I'm gonna run it and we'll tweak it over time. So that's it, we're waiting on spark plug ends. And one other thing I need to get is that lens is no good right there. Let it warm up a little bit. She's running at about 1100 RPM, something like that. High beam light works. Seems pretty good to me. I'm happy with it compared to something that was stuck and seized last fall. Came around nice. Nice original bike. The only thing that's not original really is tune-up parts and tires. Everything else is mirrors. The tires, mirrors, and tune-up parts. Everything else are all the original cables, lights, brakes. Not the battery. Real happy with it. I think we're good to go. Again, don't change those plug wires out. I think that will help, you know, some of the little stutter a little bit. I think you got some high resistance there, but I think the bike's needs a couple of hours riding around on it and get it dialed in. We'll tweak the carbs a little more, maybe go over the tune-up once more, you know, recheck the points and timing and all that. But it seems pretty decent to me. So, probably a really long video, guys. I'd like to do a ride on the end of this, but the weather is not cooperating. It's very cold right now, but I will in the future. So I want to again thank you all guys for watching, comment, subscribing, and see you on the next one. Later. And that's it, guys. I'm going to go leave her on the charger overnight tonight and let it trickle charge the rest of the way up. But other than that, it ran great. Loved it. No complaints. Again, a little tweaking and fine tuning on it, but nothing that makes a great feeling of bringing something back from the dead and having it come back to life and be ready for the road and live another 20, 30 years, you know. And generally now they're antiques, they get treated much nicer. So if it moves on from me or if I hold on to it or whatever, it gets to continue on, is the best way to say it. I want to again thank all you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and we'll do another bike pretty soon. Later.